Do you even know what a Stallone
Okay, what were you
cut
saying?
is?
Yeah, she just...
Stallone Cuts.
Yeah, she just like later was like,
Sylvester,
do you believe in
Stallone
Jesus?
Cuts.
And it was just like, can you just not fuck movies right now? Just not.
Yeah. Sylvester Stallone. Fly me to the moon.
Fly me to the empty.
Dude, episode 5. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tulsa Kings.
Lead us to kings, oh, yeah.
We'll fucking lead us to kings.
This is what I wanted from the fourth episode.
Dude. Oh, I know that everyone's going to be so hyped. Thank you to all of our new Reddit followers. Thank you to all of our new followers. Please like and subscribe. We fucking love doing this.
Yeah,
I love doing this show.
for...
This is fucking great, dude. This episode, it was amazing. Everybody.
Stallone going to his brother's funeral. Stallone.
Fly me to the moon.
With his meaty paws, meat touching things in close up.
Oh, dude. And so many rack focuses.
Yeah, totally.
Showing significance of things. Like he's... Okay, so we get the Fly Me to the Moon cold open, was sick. Stallone's back in New York. We're all excited.
Stallone wearing a suit again.
He
looks
actually,
so good.
you know what? It's actually so shocking. Does it shock you? It's so shocking that he's never been a mafioso. Now that I see it,
I know.
I see it, I'm like, holy shit, dude! Like he did do. I mean, he's never done a Dwight Manfredi, dude. But
no, it's true.
And you know what? Like, it's so good that I'm actually like thinking of him as Dwight Manfredi. I'm actually
totally.
like, you know, like it's such an incredible performance.
It's such a great performance, and him being.
Don't you mean
him being a mafioso is an amazing thing, but also what's nice about how they're doing certain things with the character is that he
how they're
seems
doing certain
like,
things with Manny.
He seems like he's making very similar toxic choices, and I don't know if it's like, are they writing it in like this specifically, or is it just... I don't think
it matters. I don't think it...
I think you're right. I don't think it matters.
Because it's so compelling and the depth of character is there. It doesn't really matter, but I am interested. I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm totally interested too, because his sister's reaction when he comes to the funeral and her being like slobbery, sad sister.
Do you know who that is?
Who is it?
She's oh my God, I forgot the name. I had it. Gloria Trillo from Sopranos.
She totally looks like a Sopranos actor. But also, everybody looks like their DNA is Stallone DNA, too. They all
Everyone's
look like...
got the same kind of, like, sweaty curls.
The eyebrows that are, like, lifted in a very specific spot.
Curled eyebrow, yeah. She looks like they could be related.
They all look like they could be related.
It's great. It's great. Sorry, I'm just looking up some notes. You're right. Like the daughter, dude.
She's so good.
Fucking daughter.
Tina?
Oh, she's amazing, dude. I was so excited. But we'll get to that. Rack focus to the daughter. Did you notice that?
Yeah. Totally. You just learned the term rack focus.
I did. I'm so glad you introduced me. And then you did it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, because that's so good, because it's like it illustrates. I didn't know what it was before.
Yeah. But speaking of racking focus, not at all with the brother, but him not getting a chance to say goodbye to the brother.
Well, he did, but his brother was like this.
Yeah, but I mean, like talking at the funeral and stuff, and him sort of being like, "Oh man, I gotta step outside," and the sister being like, "I gotta have a smoke."
Oh, dude. Okay, and the lines. Your daughter's a wonderful woman. Got a degree in horticulture. Owns her own business.
Great way to dump dialogue too.
This husband, Emery, he okay?
I also love that Emery
dude,
also vaguely sounds like the place he is more now than he is from here.
But the choice of getting Emery is actually so brilliant. The casting of this actor, we'll talk about it when we meet Emery.
Yeah.
But he's a nice guy, adores her. He's in finance or something. Is he taking care of her?
Yeah.
The cont is bigger than the house we grew up in. Tell me about my grandchildren. Grandchildren, Stallone.
Oh, totally.
Oh man, grandfathers.
75-year-old Stallone.
Dude, I loved it. I loved it. I loved everything about this scene. And like, I like the moment.
You coming to the mass tomorrow?
I like the moment when she kind of like is like, I can't do this anymore. It's actually like, it seems sudden, but it is like that with brothers and like with like siblings where you're like,
I can't believe this. My brother.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. Like,
totally.
just stop talking about this.
Yeah, for sure.
It felt real, and man, like the relationships are so, they're doing a lot.
Yeah, they're building nicely. Speaking of building nicely, the next scene where we've got the cops, the sludgy cottage cheese.
They're 1%ers. Man. The
dude,
cottage
cheese.
cheese.
There are Nazis.
There are Nazis.
I think now it's Nazis. They are confirmed. Like, anytime you have to like be like shifty with the lingo, that you're like, we're not that, but we're 1%ers.
And if they're like in the South and this chummy with cops, it's a little bit like, okay, we know what you're saying, guys. We know that what the top 1% means.
Yeah,
in this case. But so they're like really badass, and he's like, you know, I've got this license plate, and he's just the big boss.
Yeah,
what's
totally.
his name again? He's just hanging out on the motorcycle.
A very wide shot with him just normal
He's just
guy.
kind of normal guy hanging out, and everyone's like, and the cops are kind of like, they do respect them, but this guy's like very serious. Like, he's like, yeah, so we got to take care of this. What are we going to do to take care of this? And he's like, I don't know. And he's like, I've got a license plate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just so much of it, it just feels like sad and weird because it's like
it feels kind of weirdly pathetically realistic.
Yeah, it
you
is
know, like,
pathetically realistic. Those are the best fucking parts of this show.
That's
pathetically
true.
Real.
Yeah. Like, it's like there's a real sort of like, they are scary, no doubt, and they are badass, but in a realistic kind of way where you're like, you see it in a wide shot hanging out on a motorcycle, and you're like, oh, okay, this is what this looks like. A guy just being like.
Kind of like what I like about like 60s and 70s movies, because like sometimes badass guys would just be like dudes who were just had like weird haircuts that you're like, wait, that guy's supposed to be the badass?
I mean, yeah, dude. So where were we? Oh yeah, the cop, and then Tyson is so happy just driving around this sweet.
Oh no, it's not even that. It's not that scene. It's where Manfredi gets a fucking call from Chickie.
My name is Chickie. Oh dude, and Chickie's like, where the fuck are you? I heard you're in town.
Yeah,
and like,
you trying to slip by me?
He's trying to like assert like dominance, and so it's just like, I don't fucking care about you.
It's my brother. He's at a funeral. You understand?
Yeah, but my dad, who's also like a brother to you, in this thing that's more important than your family. Yeah. And he's like, yo, dude, I don't fucking give a shit about you. What's the last line?
It's my brother. Yeah, I have obligations.
Yeah. He's kind of
remember your first highest obligation.
But he's trying to kind of like dead-eyed deflect. It's so powerful. He's so a guy that knows his own power.
Yeah, just remember your first highest obligation. My father was a brother to you too. Don't you fucking forget that. That's what he says.
Yeah, and like, what does Stallone say?
Oh, he doesn't say anything. He just hangs up.
Oh man, Stallone, badass Stallone,
chunky Stallone.
He's dude, just
looming.
like
yeah, the chest.
He's very chesticled.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so he.
But yeah, Tyson gets followed by the cops.
Oh, dude, and it's like kind of like a really heartbreaking scene. Also, I think handled pretty carefully and like very sympathetically towards the black character. Like it just felt like, you know, he's like, oh fuck, not this. Like he's like already, you know, he was talking to his girlfriend or something. Like, and like we get more of a sense, you know, he's got other stuff going on too.
Totally,
you know,
totally. And the guy is like obviously questioning Dwight Manfredi. Who's that?
He's like, keep your hands where I can see him. Well,
I gotta get
the registration's in the glove.
Yeah.
I like that he's like, he also plays it really well because he's like assertive but not confrontational.
Yeah, totally.
In
and
a
then
way
the
that's
other
like,
cop is like, no, you're not under arrest, even though he's putting handcuffs
it's like, I'm putting
on.
handcuffs on you
but
for
for
my
my
own
protection.
safety.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, looks like marijuana. Come on, man, it's not even my car. And he's like, all right, well, are you saying it's stolen? It's so like looming, aggressive.
And the line, are you wearing body cameras? And he's
like, you want to be a movie star?
Movie star? Yeah, totally.
Good
totally.
lines.
Yeah,
good
lines.
Good lines.
Totally. And also very much in the realm of knowing who these cops are, who they're associated with, plus having the entire perspective basically from Tyson's point of view was really cool in this scene.
It must be like kind of a trip to play a racist cop. It's like, oh man, people are gonna associate me with this role. I'm like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It would probably really suck. It was like, you gotta talk like this.
Yeah.
Like, you know, make it like stereotypically like.
No, they did a really good job though. They did a good
job.
sweaty, not caring really what ideology is, period.
Yeah.
Done. Like, that's where it stops.
No, yeah.
I get paid and I don't care.
Yeah, it's like fully, they're like, you know, they're ideologically it ends in a pretty dark place, I think, totally. Because they're like evil, I would say, probably. Like, they're like so... the way that they handle this situation with Tyson, even when he's in prison or like in jail after, like,
oh yeah,
and
he's like, hey, I need another phone call, and he's like, and I need a foot massage. You know,
looks like we're both shit out of luck.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, what I appreciate about the kind of writing that this goes into is this notion that we don't need them to be mustache twirling. We just need them to be passive, and that's the big thing. Is like,
and sadly, we need them to be kind of realistic.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the passivity is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that's the
the procedure of it.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
When he's like, call your congressman or whatever.
Oh my god, yeah.
Just
totally.
we'll get to that. But where are we now?
The next scene where Dwight takes everybody to the fancy restaurant.
Oh,
I'm
man.
gonna take you.
Oh, I'm going to take you to the fancy restaurant.
I'm sorry, I don't remember half the people's names.
It's so realistic.
And the way people were like...
it's Stella. This is Stella.
Oh,
Alex. Oh, Stella.
The
show the measuring. Like, just... He's trying to be gregarious. He's trying to be, but he's deeply uncomfortable.
Oh, of course, Joe Jr. You look exactly like your old man.
And if you don't mind me saying, it's a good thing. And he's like, I know. And like the way Joe is kind of like politely deflecting, but also being like,
and also
generous enough.
Italian that you're like,
oh man,
this Italian guy. I know this guy.
Everybody in this scene was
so
super Italian. It was great. Like,
because there are those people who are like Stallone who stand out, and the rest of them who you're like, these guys could be actors, you know? Whereas Stallone, you know, he's like, oh yeah, this guy's some famous guy.
Stallone.
No, of course.
But he's like dressed like to the nines. He hands like the bar guy like a stack of bills. He's like, take care, give them Pinot Grigio.
Pinot Noir, leather bar. And the weird, like, I mean, I would have appreciated you asking me before you married my daughter. And it's like...
Emery. It's nice to be formally acquainted.
Yeah.
Kind of passive aggressively. Totally. And Emery's
I'm
like,
school, sorry.
And Emery's like, yeah, we talked on the phone. Like, he's kind of scared, also deflecting, but kind of rude, like pretty rude.
Totally.
Because he thinks that's what his wife wants. He thinks that's what Tina wants.
Yeah, totally.
And
totally.
Emery being cast, I think it was very deliberate, cast as like the whitest guy.
Yeah,
like,
totally. Well, he looks more like he's from there.
He looks like he's from he looks like he's from Tulsa, which is what Stallone's getting accustomed to. I mean, it's okay, you know, my daughter married
you wanted him to endure a cavity search so he could ask you?
Yeah, she was like, oh, the balls on him.
Yeah, totally.
But she's really indignant. Like, she's not having any of it. She's like, fuck you,
and
dude.
She looks so much like Stallone.
She does. She does
so much. She's got like juicy lips.
So attractive, dude.
So attractive. Like eyebrows, lips, similar vibe. Can hold her own.
Yeah.
And then the other guy, the cousin or whatever, hey, what about Bamontes? We could have stopped at Bamontes.
And they're like, oh, Joe, he would have loved it. And he's like, are you kidding me? Uncle Joe never would have liked this.
Yeah. Broaden your horizons. Come on.
Oh,
trying
man.
to be like
Try the two.
trying the truth with the foie gras ravioli.
Oh,
which
dude.
sounds actually
Sounds pretty good, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, he never would have liked this. Yeah, she has like an allegiance to Uncle Joe because he was around, dude. Stacy's mom's got it going on.
Well, it's after the Slinky Benny, aka Manny, comes in, and we find out. I mean, we already knew this.
He's like, dun, dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun,
totally.
dun, 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 dun. You can't hear me. Yeah.
Oh man, Maisie, dude, Maisie. Well,
is that the
she's the panicked one who's like,
oh,
he deserves it. He needs to get killed. Do you remember?
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But
She works for.
is that the one who talks to Manny?
Yeah, she talks that. She works.
You don't want to fuck with these guys.
Yeah, you don't want to.
I'm just saying. What the fuck does that mean? Manny's like,
Oh, Manny's.
he's like fucking pissed.
Yeah,
like, he's like,
it's like his last straw. It's like, what, I gotta deal with this at work now?
Karen!
yeah, like Manny's like he really, really wanted out.
He so wanted out.
That's actually
yeah.
really interesting about his character because up until like last episode, we thought that he might be in witness protection, but he just fucking was done.
Yeah,
and like now he's got to deal with this shit again.
And it's funny because Maisie is like, I hear you've been moonlighting as a tough guy, right? She finds out, and he's like, what?
Karen!
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, just want to let you know, was she the low-key threats where she's like, you're gonna learn about loss?
Yeah,
you're
totally
gonna
learn
know
about
loss. Totally learn about loss.
Make you think about loss. All right, I'm gonna make you learn about loss. Something like that.
And then he's like, yeah, he's kind of upset by this. But what happens after that? Is that when Dwight calls?
No, this is actually when he shows up to the hospital. Oh, Dwight shows up to the hospital for the first time. Oh, man.
And Nico is there. He's from Sopranos
Yeah, no ingenious insights you got. Who are you, from Ray Charles?
too. He's the like, kind of like, oh, dude, like Nico the package. Like he's just like, he's kind of like nervously sitting there.
Yeah, totally.
And Stallone sort of like big dick swings into the scene.
Yeah, totally.
Says hi to everyone except for Vince.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, Nico, Paulie, ladies. And then he hands like a napkin to, or like a, it's like a
Oh yeah.
serviette or something,
to-
like to some lady, and he's like, see, that's what a man treats a woman like. And he's like, you trying to show me up,
Yeah, totally.
Stallone? Vince, like he's so pissed.
Yeah, totally. And then Chickie.
Go ahead, I'll take another 100,000 from you.
Oh man, yeah.
And
then,
Nico's like, how long you in town?
oh man, and
kind of nervously.
Yeah, Chickie was also like, my dad's asleep, but this is what we did in the military. You mean military school?
Dude, him consistently cucking, my name is Chickie.
Oh man, and then we get the shot of what's his name, Tyson in jail, and the cops are just like fumbling through his phone, and they're like, "Oh,
What's your password?
What's your password?" And he's like, "Come on, man, I gotta
gotta poo." He definitely had to poo.
he definitely had
didn't
to
want to
poo.
poo in the hole. They're like, "Well, what's wrong with the hole?" And he's like, "Come on, man, I really gotta go." And he's like, "What's your password?" And he's like, "The password is."
And now Stacy's mom's got it going. Is calling Dwight, and he's like,
And he's like,
and he's like doing that fucking every boomer talking like this.
I do that though too. I
can't do it because it's like, yo, I know you can't hear
what?
what, and then it's, yeah,
No,
I know.
but the reason boomers do that is because they can't hear, so they just use the
The
loudspeaker.
loudspeaker as the, yeah, totally. But yeah, she wants to like get coffee, and he's like, I can't. I'm in New York.
She's really trying with this guy. Like
She's trying to
she
too.
really.
I saw my daughter. How'd that go? Not very good.
Yeah. I felt like this was a little bit like, I don't know, treating this character as like she's just a sounding board for like things he's got to get out felt a little
Sometimes,
bit like a
yeah. I
useless
mean,
scene.
there's some stuff in this.
Because I like Stacy.
I like Stacy too. I mean, like overall, it doesn't matter the individual episodes when like people get certain time. But anyway,
I know.
Tyson's phone ends up in the neo-Nazi fucking brigade of like bikers or whatever.
Yeah.
And fucking Bodhi is in the car with the neo-Nazis, and they're calling Dwight right after Stacy's mom. And basically he's like, Tyson? And then it shuts off the phone, and then we get a bag over Bodhi's head. And this is scary. This is so scary.
And the way he kind of like...
Man, the way Mart Starr's a genius.
He's
the
so
panic
good.
and the fear that this dude feels.
The bane of my fucking existence.
Yeah, totally.
Who's Dwight Manfredi? The bane of my fucking existence.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved this performance. I loved the interaction. Like he knows he doesn't need to be more scary, which is pretty scary.
Yeah.
What's the guy's name? Well,
Well, does he have a name, or should I call him Lawyer?
Okay, so it's Richie Coster is the actor, and Kalen Waltrip he's described the character as almost like a cult leader, which I would say,
which they reference in the actual episode too.
Yeah,
which was great. It's also a little bit like they need these bad characters so that they can flesh out the other actual villains of the show a lot more. That feels a little bit like, okay, you're straining it a little bit.
Well, no, but I understand what you're saying. But I think they used this like sort of parallel stuff, like shit and turmoil building in Tulsa, to kind of raise the stakes of what was happening in the New York plot.
I think you're right.
And I think that was like, like a powerful storytelling tool, because like this was definitely, I think, the episode that raised the stakes.
Yeah, Tyson gets out of jail, he's like, hey, where's my phone and my $1,200? And he's like, oh, sorry, dude, we didn't have that. We didn't book that in. Didn't see it happen.
Well, somebody should be fucking watching and keeping an eye on him.
Go call your congressman.
Yeah.
And your car's impounded.
Oh, man. And then we get the scene where Stallone calls Joey's wife and
reads the poem
that he says.
And I think that he wrote this.
You think he wrote this?
I think he wrote this. It seemed so...
Little brother, you were a giant.
It seemed so natural, and it seemed so honest.
It did.
It seemed kind of like there was like an introspection to it of like, what would happen if I lost a brother? You know, like it seemed like he thought about it, and he said, not only what would happen if I lost a brother, what would happen if Dwight lost a brother? Yeah. And like there's like a kind of earnestness to it.
Yeah, and he also, if you notice, he takes all of the qualities that he wants and puts it into his brother as well. He's like, okay, you de-escalate situations. You
were there for people.
Problems, you know.
You were there for the small things.
Yeah.
He like Stallone is all about the small things.
Totally.
I think this is also some like late stage life introspection of like these are the things that mattered.
Yeah.
Caring for people, showing up, being the connections you made with people, the moments you had. Yeah. I got to water my trees.
My trees.
I mean, you know.
What about this drought? My trees are going to die.
My trees are going to die. What are you going to do?
Maisie. He's talking to Maisie. This is the next scene after the...
Who's Maisie again?
Should I call him Lawyer?
She's the crazy lady who's like, he deserves it. She's the panicky
Manny
lady.
talking to
her.
Yeah.
And like,
but she didn't seem like she seemed less unhinged in this with this
because she's at work, right?
Yeah.
She's not around
but like,
murderers
why would
and
she just
psychos.
Be like, why would she be like, I think we need to kill them. They're pussies, you know, like
because I think that she's in a perpetual state of fear when she's around them.
Oh, yeah.
But when she's utilizing, that's what I think happens in most like sort of abusive, weird relationships where it's like, oh yeah, like I'll get him to fuck you up, but he'll fuck me up if I don't. Up something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, so there's kind of like this like abuse cycle where like
Well, she doesn't know Manny, right? She doesn't know he has like a past, right? She just thinks, oh yeah, he's some fucking random guy I work with.
Shouldn't be hanging out with those guys.
Yeah, totally.
Gonna get their bad hombres.
They're gonna kill. Yeah, they're. Oh my god, they're such bad hombres.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Yeah. Oh man, in this scene where Bodhi has the knife to him, and he's so devastated because it's like, fuck, why did I get into this? And
I mean, he didn't have a choice.
Yeah, it's true.
But remember,
the guy's just like, what's the guy's name again?
Coltrane something. I don't know what the fuck his name is. Kaelin Waltrip.
Oh, it's such a
Kaelin. Maybe it's Kaelin.
Yeah.
Kaelin.
That's so Kaelin. It's
Kaelin.
like, call him. Good old call him. Call him, Fjord. Go for call him, meanie.
This is fucking spectacular.
Call him, Fjord.
Oh man, and like him being like, who's this Tyson? He did such a good job playing like badass, the kind of badass that's like just by the happenstance of being a murderer of some kind, he's
Manny?
a badass. No. Coltrane.
Yeah. Colin Waltrip. Coltrane. Coltrane's like, he's like hanging out. He's like, hey, did you see me hanging out on my motorcycle? I'm pretty cool. And then Martin Starr's like, I need to get out of here.
And then, but I love the fact that Martin Starr is just like, I think it's called extortion, what he does.
And he's like, so
it's actually called racketeering.
who do you extort? He's like, I'm the one being extorted. Yeah.
Because he thinks, I love the clashing of ideas of where it's like, wait, what do you do? Well, trying to find out the information
he's like,
is really
you're in
funny.
this guy's frequent caller list because I work for stupid boss. Like,
Yeah.
he's like kind of like, I think he actually did a good job of self-preserving in this scene because it's like, whoa, dude, like, you know, that's the main thing you want. You want to disassociate from someone or like as much as possible in a situation like that because you're like, I don't have anything to do with this. I don't have any control in this situation.
Yeah, it's true. Because Stallone did the same thing to him as this guy is doing to him, just in a way less violent way.
Totally.
In a much more efficient Italian way.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he like,
it's not like the South.
He threatens to curb stomp his foot, which we see come back in this episode, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, totally.
Controversial
then
moment.
Bodhi is taken by the two cops that we're introduced to. I don't know if we got their names yet. But he takes them back to the bar, Buck and Fuck or whatever. Chuck and
Chuck and Buckin', yeah. And
Chuck and Buck, suck and fuck.
man, one of my favorite scenes. They come inside and they're just kind of like, they're like not on their own turf and they're a little bit like,
you boys wearing tags?
no, he's like, is this dog yours?
Mitch the Stick.
Oh man, it's such good lines. And he's like, sorry to break up your daisy chain. And he's like, well, since you boys don't have any jurisdiction here on Cherokee land, I suggest you take your cottage cheese asses off my property. It's some fucking amazing line.
Totally.
The cottage cheese asses line was amazing. And I don't know, like,
get out of my fucking joint.
I like Hedlund so much. He's so...
You want it in fucking sign language?
He's so powerful. It's like, very cool. He also has the same... I think that's why him and Stallone get along in this show, because like they're both very much like, they don't take shit in a very specific kind of way.
I also really find it interesting that everybody seems to know... Bodhi gets reacted when he says the Cherokee landline as well, and it's they all seem to know, like, oh no, what the rules are around certain places.
Yeah, everyone's big dogging everyone else with rules, and like, I mean, this show is really about family and hierarchy.
Totally, and also how people like Bodhi get pulled into things like this by getting put in threatening situations, but then getting out of them by not getting out of them, but getting into other threatening situations, making the first threatening situation seem like it was a favor to him. So the sort of like a weird abuse cycle of how these kinds of culty places work as well. Because he gets out and he's like, Mitch hugs him, and like he seems like totally okay, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, and then we get Manny.
Mitch hugs him when he comes.
Yeah, Mitch hugs him in and pulls him in. And then Manny gets the local biker gang faces multiple indictments. He's like looking on the internet at the newspapers.
Can I just make an observation?
We don't even read the newspaper.
Don't you think that Headland's character would have, if he owned Buckin' and Fuckin', like, wouldn't he have better insight and maybe not make the decision to like start dealing in nitrous on the turf of like such dangerous outlaws?
That's true. Like, that's the weird thing, and the sort of somewhat inconsistencies.
He knows stuff, you know.
So, but at the same time, like, in real life, people know stuff sometimes, and they don't know other
that's
things.
True. That's true.
Right. What I, in terms of writing, what I never appreciate is when people don't know stuff when it's convenient for us not to know stuff.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't know stuff. So far, it seems like he doesn't know stuff.
That's true.
So that's fair. Oh man. But the next scene,
Manny is looking on the internet.
Manny looking on the internet.
Manny Googling.
Googling.
Like
That's fair.
slinkily Googling.
Slinkily Googling. We got that.
And Coltrane like got off of the 3 homicides.
He got off of the 3
because
homicides.
he was so cool on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
They're like, we can't indict this guy.
Totally. But where the next scene with Tina and Stallone.
Okay, so yeah,
she keeps calling him Dwight. She doesn't want to call him Dad.
And like, obviously, like upsetting scene. Talk about sexual assault. Like, you know, I think that they tried the tooth with rape.
Honey, what's this?
And like, it's a little bit annoying because it's a classic sort of like trope in these kinds of things.
What bothered me about it, it's sort. Yeah, go ahead. I
just found it like, you know, they fleshed out Tina so well, and they cast such a good actor, and like she did such a good job playing this role. It just feels like such a disservice, and it felt a little bit unnatural for her. Maybe not. Like I was gonna say, no, you know what? It would totally make sense that she would bring up a situation like that in a situation like this.
You know
because
what?
she was feeling the overwhelming emotions of like blaming her father for so many things that like this is also his fault that something like this happened. Now, the fact that it did happen, that one of his associates like named Nico the package, and the reason that he's named the package is she implies that like he assaulted her with a big penis or something. And so like it's like, I think that
before all that stuff, we get the context of why she's so mad at her dad, which is mom was there to give me her
she
pearls.
Didn't go to checking account.
Uncle
Joe was there at my prom.
Was there at the prom. You know, like there are family related stuff that he wasn't there for, that he deserves to get attacked for, judged for, and so on and so forth. What bothered me about the rape stuff wasn't necessarily even that it's like, oh, it's a trope, or I mean, that's annoying because it's like, okay, but like, do we need really any more stuff towards this other family, like building up, we're building up something against the group Manfredi used to work for. Fair enough. But like, he already has all that stuff. He was almost killed in prison because they didn't know if he was going to turn.
That's the thing. Like, you already have a motive there.
Yeah, and it's he ends up going to find out whether or not Pete knew about the rape, and it's like he didn't, or he
and it's like Pete also, like, that Pete tried to have you murdered. So why would you go to him?
Why would you? Why go to him, or why not confront him then about it?
That?
Yeah, talk to him about both. You can talk to him about both of them. I guess he's trying to hide something, or not show all of his cards.
Because he still needs. I think he still needs to earn. I think he realizes that he still needs to work.
But then why go murder this other dude? The package. Why murder that guy and not give any context for why he murdered this guy?
So he's like. So let's talk about the scene, because like, in contrast to like the subject matter, which you're right, I do find like dubious, and I do find like sort of like
Well, it's just like on top of everything else, it's like, okay, so this guy did this thing.
It raises the stakes in a way, I understand, but like it raises the stakes in a way that obviously something incendiary like a sexual assault would, right? But it's just unnecessary. It was unnecessary.
Well, it's just like, I don't, maybe it'll pay off. Who knows? Like, it's just, it was
I
annoying.
think the payoff was supposed to be the justified murder. To be perfectly honest, like that's the thing. That's the thing is like that's the thing. He like so we'll get to that scene, but the scene before it when he's confronting Pete at the hospital and Pete's like,
oh man, but before even that, when Stallone's like, no, just tell me, like him getting so mad but needing to know and wanting to know, he played it really well.
It felt like a very realistic Stallone reaction, but it's not what you want to do when somebody tells you something like that.
Yeah, totally.
You want to be like supportive and like try and like listen to what they're saying to you, or just be with them and comfort them. Yeah, it's like
also what I appreciated about the scene. What I loved about this scene.
Because he made it way more about himself and his own feelings, his own failure,
well, you know what?
his own...
I'm okay with that. That's fine.
It's realistic for the character, probably.
And I really love the line, look, can we just move past this?
Well, there's no going back.
And it's like the boomer fucking
desire to move past things,
past certain things,
and to not take accountability
at all.
It was just so
reminded me so much of my own our own parents,
so much.
Where it's like, look, can't we just move past this? And it's like, but that would require me to do work that I didn't deserve.
Exactly,
I don't need to, and that I already did with you gone.
Exactly,
I did the work,
and now I have to do more work again for you.
For you.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude.
And this amazing shot of him below.
I think we've got a new scream, whatever scream Nico does at the end. I think that's the new.
But the like low angle shot of the back of his head with the threads of hair coming out of the elevator and then going to Nico to like grab his fucking face and be like,
mush his face and be like, wait.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Totally.
And like just like didn't move his eyes.
Yeah, totally.
And like just we have to analyze the flesh of his face and how the like meaty chunky breathing of just like I like was like
yeah, totally.
And he's just like,
no, what?
And he's like no, you didn't.
Yeah. Oh man.
Like,
yeah.
And I just wanted to shout out one more quiet, stoic Stallone acting in an earlier scene in the funeral when his sister's like, 20 years. It's a long time. No, it goes by like in a flash. Goes by real slow too.
Yeah, totally.
Just like goes by real slow too.
Yeah,
like losing 20 years of your life in prison to a person that you now know tried to murder you and who you will in the future. It does raise the stakes. It raises the stakes.
Totally. But I also love the line when Stallone comes in and into the like whatever hideout they have or whatever, and the guy's just like, I think it's Chickie or Vince. I just dealt. The like
it's like a casual
because he knows he's gonna have to talk to this guy, and it's like, I just come on, like, can we just get, and then he just starts beating the package and then puts the package's face onto the
package. This guy, he's like, dude, I forget who he was on Sopranos. I think he was like,
but does he have a name, or should I call him Lawyer?
Not Johnny Sax's guy. I think he was one of like Corrado Sopranos guys. The guy who's like, you know, like a little bit jumpy.
Yeah. And he mushes his face on the, what is it called again? Stove thing. Anyway,
the stovetop,
yeah. And then he like chokes
Aleks
him.
And and like drag. Hey, what are you doing? You're gonna kill him, man.
Yeah, totally. And then
they also, you know what? one thing that I liked about this scene is the fact that they let him do it. They're like, they seem to know that there's a justification. You know what I mean? Like in a way that their reaction is like, obviously they're shocked. Obviously they're a little bit scared of Stallone because clearly he can murder people. Yeah. And like, then Stallone like drags the guy with a chain and like,
no, it was a power cord, but it doesn't matter.
He like fucking like gives him the like American History X.
He
like
stomps his head to death and then like mushes the head,
and then you just hear like teeth like shatter and like a puddle of blood CGI forms too fast.
Yeah, totally.
Way too fast.
Way too fast. But also, then he walks away and he's like, "You cleaned it up."
Down, 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 blown, do, 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 do. Okay. I mean, okay.
The episode, I'd give it 9.
My name is Chickie.
I would give it a 9. I was wrong.
Yeah, you were wrong about the show. And can I tell you something? You were wrong about the show. You were wrong about the funniness of the show. You were wrong about the lightheartedness of the show. It's way more Sopranos than you think.
No, it is. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that the last episode took on aspects of the second episode. Every other episode I've really liked, from the first, third, and this one.
Yeah, it seems like the odd numbers
seem like
they seem to be nailing it.
Yeah, for sure. But I said I'm not gonna like necessarily. But I was wrong. I was wrong in the sense that I thought it was gonna continue the way it did with the last episode, and it so didn't. It really did up the stakes
in a really serious
way. Yeah, in a serious way. Yeah, totally.
So.
In fact, in retrospect, I'd probably give it a bit better number than a 7. What did I give it, a 7 or something?
Yeah.
But
you need the context. That's the thing with the show. It's got to unfold.
Yeah, it's got to unfold and stuff. What would you give it to the Stallones? I would give it 10 out of 10 Stallones.
I did. Yeah. If I'm going to give any episode a 10 out of 10 Stallones... Wait, hold on. I'm trying to do it. I don't know if I'm doing it.
You did a great job.
And like just his eyes kind of like tired and needy and like it looks like they're as vascular as the rest of his head and he's just like, did you...
But also not able to move from the...
It was incredible, dude. It was like one of the best things I've ever seen. Like he's so good.
Yeah,
he's so underrated, and he's so good in a show like this. The fact that people slept on him being a mafioso is criminal, and he's working so hard to prove that.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even need to do as well as he's doing.
No.
And he could be coasting through this and still be great. And I would give it a 10 out of 10 Stallones. And I agree, I would give the episode a 9. Like, I don't know if we're gonna get a better episode. I hope we do. I'm excited about the show.
I'm excited about what the finale is gonna be.
Dude.
But also knowing that it's gonna have a second season is also like a bummer. But that's more of like a marketing thing.
He doesn't know that he wants to come back. How? It's not a show without him.
Well, I mean, they're making a new season.
I know, but has he signed on? He said in an interview that he doesn't want to do it again. He said it was too much. He said it was way harder than a movie. He's like, a movie's a cakewalk.
No, man, he's gonna do it. There's no way he's not gonna do it.
Yeah, it's too good, and I think the show's gonna do well. It's an exciting show.
Follow us at
Thirsty for More Presents on Instagram.
At More Thirsty on Twitter.
And guys, the crown jewel of them all, the Patreon.
If you want to get primo content,
you want to get the best content. Hey.
You think this is good?
You think this is good? Have you heard us talk about Daniel Isn't Real?
Some Schwartzy?
Have you
some Schwartzy content?
Go back in time, listen to the past episodes, follow us on the podcast, Thirsty for More.
Yeah, follow us.
Subscribe and all that shit. Share to your friends. See you next week.
Smash that like and subscribe.
Oh wait, we got to do the reaction. We got to do the reaction shot. It's got no. Let's go. I mean, I always picture
So many of them are like that.
because people know that like clickbait. They'll just be
they
like,
are.
they don't know that we're actually always
Yeah,
like
we're
doing
just
it.
always.
We're just well, I mean, of course we're playing it up with